My name is Shelby Kingery, and today I'll be trying to persuade you to buy a hybrid car. So driving is almost, if not already, an essential thing. Majority of the population relies on a vehicle to get them from point A to B. But with the capabilities of being able to get around via automobile, comes with having to pay for gas, which can get easily pretty pricey and put a good dent in your bank account each time you fill up. So what would you think if I were to tell you that you could have the same luxury of going wherever, whenever you'd like, except you're paying half of what you were originally spending? 2 words, hybrid car. So just as many people do my age, I was driving an older, hand-me-down vehicle when I first got my license. The car had really bad gas mileage, and I was having to fill up at least once a week, if not more, depending on my travels. Well, fast forward to this last fall, I got a new car, and surprise, I got a hybrid. I was really stepping into new territory when I got this car, and I didn't truly see the advantages until I was driving it every single day. So as college students, we really seem to struggle with money, even if it's $20 to fill up our cars. And hybrids, since they partially run off electricity, it substantially diminishes how often we have to fill up, getting up to 45 miles per gallon. And it cuts how much and how often we're having to spend to fill up. Therefore, in order to persuade you to buy a hybrid car, I'm going to discuss the problem, causes, and the solution to this dilemma. First, I'm going to discuss the problems. On February 1st, 2018, what car defined a hybrid as having a conventional engine, electric motor, and a battery? So regular cars only use one form of propulsion, while hybrid cars use more than one. The wheels are powered by the engine, the electric motor, or both working simultaneously together. So as you can see in this picture, this is actually from the screen of my car, and I can pull this up whenever I'm driving, and it shows what's currently happening in my car. So as you can see, I was in idle, and while I'm sitting in idle, my engine wasn't on, so I was using no fuel. I was going right off of my battery, and my battery charges whenever I'm deaccelerating or I'm just driving and I'm not accelerating. And then, as you can see in this next picture as well, I was in hybrid drive, and that's because whenever I go over 15 to 20 miles per hour, my engine kicks on, and I'm using both fuel and my battery, and because both of those are working simultaneously together, I'm not using as much fuel, which is one of the main things that a hybrid does. So overall, a hybrid consumes less fuel and emits less CO2. On January 14, 2017, the U.S. Energy Information Administration recorded that Americans consumed 140.43 billion gallons of gasoline in 2015, or about 384.74 million gallons each day. So, at $2.15 per gallon per 656 gallons per driver, that racks up $1,400 annually just to fill up your tank. And there's no guarantee on gas prices because oil prices either plunge or they surge, and we've seen it both ways. But an increase in oil prices can increase your spendings by 11%. Other factors include not getting the routine maintenance on your car, your driving habits, which can inhibit your miles per gallon, and not tightening your gas cap. Because believe it or not, when you don't tighten your gas cap like it should, it can cause the gas to evaporate, and that's basically putting your money into thin air. So some other small issues include gasoline exposure, which can cause cancer. So the more you fill up, the more exposed you are. Next is that we already know that CO2 is emitted, but according to CNN, the courts have ruled that CO2 is a harmful pollutant. So CO2 isn't the only thing that's emitted. As you can see here, some other harmful things that are emitted by your car is nitrogen oxides, sulfide dioxide, hydrocarbons, particulate matter, and aromatics. So a hybrid significantly diminishes and cuts all these in half. So now that you know the problems, I'm going to discuss the causes. So what many people fail to see is the long-term advantages, and they seem to focus more on the temporary factors. So first, most people pay attention to price, which why wouldn't they? But at a first glance, it's noticed that hybrids typically do cost more. Next, people are hesitant because they don't think hybrids have agility or speed, acceleration. And lastly, with the higher price tags does come some higher maintenance costs. But now that you know the causes, I'm going to cover the solutions. So before you turn down the consideration of getting a hybrid, there are logical reasons to each problem. So first, what many people fail to understand is that the price is higher because of the equipment used to make the hybrid a hybrid. And in the long run, there's almost always a payback on your premiums and a payback time. And thirdly, so it's no secret that many people do want performance cars, but the thing is, they automatically assume that you can't get that with a hybrid car. And that's not the case, because with today's everyday technology and advancements, we're really seeing an increase in better performance hybrids. And lastly, just as the price seems higher, so does the maintenance cost, but that's because, again, of the equipment and the stuff that they put in a hybrid to make it a hybrid, because those do cost more. That technology does cost more. Okay, so in this next one, I don't know if you'll really be able to see it, but it's a visual comparison of hybrids and gasoline vehicles. So some cons that are listed for hybrid cars is high maintenance, which I covered that, it's just the technology that's put into it, and no sport tune suspensions. Well, that's really not focused towards everybody. That's more towards a minority, so that can't really be a deciding factor. And then it says for cons, for a gas car, harmful emissions, which I covered that, all the things that are emitted from your car, and the low mileage. So in my car, I get on average 40 miles per gallon. So in closing, hopefully I persuaded to buy you a car. Specifically, I've discussed the problems, causes, and the solutions to this dilemma. So I would really like to strongly suggest that and encourage you guys to consider a hybrid car, because in the end, the advantages really do outweigh the disadvantages. And personally, I'm a see it to believe it type of person, so I wouldn't promote this if I didn't wholeheartedly believe in the purpose and the benefits of it. Plus, why wouldn't you want to help out your environment and help out your back pocket as well? Ironically, today is Earth Day, so what a better day than to consider doing it. I want to end this by saying, I just want everybody to start recording and keeping track of when they fill up and for how much, and I want you to do that just for 2 months. And then I want you to compare it to mine. So I drive a 2017 Ford Fusion Hybrid. And for the months of March and April, I spent a total of $45.96. March 3rd, I filled up for 8 gallons for $19.84. March 24th, I filled up for 6.5 gallons for $10.02. April 11th, I filled up for 5.3 gallons for $8. And April 20th, I filled up for 5.6 gallons for $8.10. And each time I did fill up my tank completely. So I really hope that you will consider and really look into it. Thank you.